welcome to Brandon Stadium for this stock car meeting, which has attracted many of the sports top drivers. That's because always start at the back of the grid. Well, this is the 5th of the 13 qualifying rounds, and the best 5 scores overall will count, and they will decide which drivers line up in the World Final itself in September. So there's a lot to go for. I can promise you that with a complicated point scoring system, it means that the drivers really do have to go flat out in every heat at every qualifying round. Well, your commentator here at Brandon is Dave Lanning.
Well, we're moving into heat number 2 here. We see the novice drivers up front there. The white top, Sam Seabrook is car 230. John Taylor from Walsall's in car 187. Frank North from Leicestershire, from Anstey, is 145. Chris Elwell from Rugeley is 501 there, the white tops. And we've got one addition to those, that's Neil Paul Corney. He'll be in car 74. So the beginners, you might almost say that these lads are all accomplished real wizards, of course. Have the advantage of starting in front, but then they've got some heavy traffic coming up behind them, and we're looking particularly, they are the superstars, and amongst the red tops to watch for, Andy Stott is in car 160. Bobby Burns from Ilford, he's come a long way here, 471. Dave Mellor from 304, an ex-world champion, he's from Ashbourne, Derbyshire, watching him in car 304, and of course the giant of them all in Formula 1 stock car racing at the moment, Stuart Smith from Rochdale, at the back there, looking very cool, calm. He's, of course, in the gold top with the big number 1, signifying the world champion. So there is the lineup, and we're waiting for the pace lap. And they are shutting the pit gate, which is always a signal that we have the full list of starters. We've got 21 in this race. Remember, it's 16 laps, and the action coming your way thick and fast. They do make a lovely purring, throaty roar when they're warming up like this, don't they? I like call this sport every driver's sport to lose his inhibitions. It's good knockabout stuff. And of course, it's got more and more professional and very much more technical over the years. The old days of just bangers and smash have disappeared, certainly at this level of stock car racing anyway. Here's the signal, and I think we are ready to go now in heat 2. Here's the white tops. Amongst the yellow tops, we've got Lee Wilson, a local boy, Daventry, Mo Masters. We've got Bernard Poisser from Leek amongst the yellow tops, and from Meriden, near Coventry, of course, Mike Shirley, he's in car 395 amongst the yellow tops to watch for. Car number 9, there's Mo Masters. Car number 35. 305, I think that should be. It looks like Andy Webb from Daventry. Here's the Blues, among the Blues. Who have we got there? Well, there's Nigel Land and Pete Blashford. Mo Smith is in there. Ray Lee from Warrington. John Lander from Cirencester, and John Kaiser from Saffron Walden among the Blues. And here comes the king of them all, Stuart Smith. Looking ready for action, and very, very menacing indeed. What a beautiful piece of stock car machinery. It looks like we are going to have all systems go. Away they go, and straight into the lead is Sam Seabrook from Hinckley in Leicestershire. He leads at the moment. There's some trouble right under our commentary spot. They're all piling up there. And it's one of the novices, Neil Paul Corney, who seemed to have caused that car 74. Ahead of the action there, Lee Wilson from Stapleford in Essex managed to get going again. But it is car 230, and that is Sam Seabrook who leads, who got clear. Some trouble right under the commentary box at the start of this heat number 2. There is the leader. The dust beginning to settle now, although we do have this novice Neil Paul Corney still blocking the home straight here. The rest of the field beginning to circumnavigate him quite well. It really is getting a little bit tight in there. And Stuart Smith, we notice, is wending his way through the field in the most spectacular style. There is Smith. And he's picked up a few already. You can see him having a battle with his fellow superstars there in the red helmet, red tops. Smith at the moment with Andy Stott of Wakefield having a rare ding-dong. Smith is back in 9th place, and he really is putting himself about. Stott, of course, is an experienced driver as well, knows his way around and giving nothing away. And there goes the nudge, and he's pushing him out of the way, and that was a superb piece of stock car driving there from the world champion. Really is picking his way through the eye of a needle. There's Stuart Smith. We saw him beautifully turn and flip his rival Andy Stott out of the way there, and now he's going through on the inside past one of the white tops. That's 189, having a bit of trouble. That's John Taylor. And Smith's going strong. Still, it is though Sam Seabrook in the lead. In 2nd place, we have another of the white tops, Chris Elwell from Rugeley, and 3rd at the moment is kind of an IMO Masters. But this man Smith is making his way through the field, and the crowd here at Brandon mostly are watching him. We know who the leader is, but we're just waiting to see just how long it's going to take the world champion to work his way through, and just if he can, because time now is beginning to run out. We're on the 8th lap of 16, so we're midway through. Still, Smith wends his way through, going past, what, 2, 3 rivals there. And that means now Smith's up into 4th place and closing on the leading 3. There is Smith. Now, where are the rivals in front of him? It's a good long distance, as you can see. Half the race still to go, and it's still Sam Seabrook who leads it, but he must be getting more and more aware surely that the world champion has worked his way through. Remember, the top 6 placings qualified. Stuart Smith can pick up some extra money here, and he really is driving beautifully. Now Smith has moved up. We saw him just bypassing some rivals. He's in 3rd place now. In 2nd place, it's Chris Elwell. And there's Sam Seabrook in all kinds of trouble. And he's moved up into 2nd place now as the world champion. And where is the leader? Here is the leader here. And there is Stuart Smith. And there's about, what, a quarter of a lap between them. And can Smith possibly now catch it up? We're on the 14th lap coming up next, so only 2 to go. And it must be said that the white top driver, Sam Seabrook, really has done awfully well here, although Smith is still after him. The last lap signal goes out for car 230, Sam Seabrook. And in 2nd place there, we have Stu Smith, and I don't think he's going to catch him now. There is a back marker separating them at the moment. It is car number 395, that's Mike Shirley. But it's going to be Seabrook. He has driven well. Seabrook wins it, he's delighted. In 2nd place there, Stuart Smith, who really did pick his way through in the most masterful fashion. Well, there's the world champion. The checkered flag just coming a little bit too soon for him. Maybe another couple of laps he'd have got up on this man, and that's Sam Seabrook. He jumped into the lead right from the start, one of the white top drivers, and he's got a story to talk about for some time. How he beat the world champion in this qualifying heat at Brandon, Coventry. So the Midlanders here at Brandon will be enjoying that one. Sam Seabrook from Hinckley, Leicestershire, just across the way. Successful in Heat 2, and he did drive a nicely controlled race. Didn't panic. At one stage it looked like he was going to get some pressure from the world champion, but never really closed on him. Faithful warhorse that gets a pat. So there is the winner of Heat 2, and he really was a good winner too. That's car number 230, and that's Sam Seabrook. There we can see him without the paraphernalia from Hinckley and Leicestershire. Let's just give you the qualifiers from Heat 2. In second place, we saw Stuart Smith, the world champion, working his way through the field. He qualifies car number 1. In third place, it was car 304, Dave Miller from Ashbourne in Derby. Car number 247 was fourth, Andy Webb, and car number 501, Chris Elwell, one of the white toppers from Rugeley, qualifies to in fifth place. And the final qualification place there, car number 471 in sixth place, that's Bobby Burns, one of the visitors from Essex. Well, here's that start again. You can see Neil Fourcorny. He's right at the back of those white tops who caused the trouble, and he did it all on his own. Just whacked the fence, and from then on there was all kinds of strife inside him as the cars tried to avoid him. They're almost broadside across the track. Just the novice driver and showing his inexperience there. And let's now move to Gary Newbon in the pits.
Well, here's the world champion, Stuart Smith. Stuart, do you ever get any problems working out who the leader is?
Yeah, many a time. The thing is, when you start right at the back, it's a job to tell who's winning. You know, you've got to guess it half the time, but usually you can see the leaderboard here. They have a big scoreboard, and that helps you out a lot. But, you know, you've a lot of problems most of the time trying to find out just where you are in the race.
Is it sheer driving, or do you have any advantage over machinery?
Well, I'd say 50-50. You've got to have a good car, and it's got to be set up absolutely perfect. And that involves quite a lot of work, and you've got to be able to drive it, of course.
Well, once you become a superstar, it really is hard work, isn't it? Every race.
Yeah, you've got to start at the back, you see, and it means that you've got to pick your way through all the lower graders, and half of them are out of control, you know, and spinning around. It's a bit airy at times, but, you know, that's the idea, is to get through them without getting any damage.
Well, let's take the world champion through some of these stages now, and explain, as we look at it, how you actually drive through this race.
Well, the thing is, going into the corners, that's where the car tends to slow down, and you've got to push the car in front wide if you can. It doesn't always pay off. It depends who's behind you. You see Big Dave there's right behind me, and he's just waiting for me to make a mistake. And you've got to be it's like, I always call it like motorised snooker, me, because you've got to actually lean on the guy in front at the correct speed and the correct pressure at the correct angle and everything. And that's why, you know, years of experience come in handy.
You didn't catch him in that heat, did you, in the end?
No, I just needed about 3 more laps. For the finals, another 5 laps, I think.
That's right, it is.
So it just gives you're just in with a chance if you keep out of trouble.
Well, the top 6 go through to the grand final. You're safely through the grand final, so you can have a breather now. And in fact, we can take a short break. But
So we've had 2 qualification heats, and we're now ready for Heat 3 here at Brandon Stadium, the Brisca Formula 1 Stock Car Championship of the World. The qualifying round, we've seen the world champion, and in heat number 3 we have another interesting character, and he's going to be car 467, Bill Batten, all the way up from Cornwall, who is bidding for a unique treble this year in stock car racing. He's going for the Formula 1 and Formula 2 championships and the hot rods. And tonight he is using a car loaned to him, we gather, from Bert Finnegan. A nice gesture amongst the big guns of stock car racing. You can see the starter there, getting them all under control. We've got 21 cars here, 16 laps, remember. The top 6 go forward. And, well, we've had a couple of surprises really early on with a white top driver, one of the more junior drivers in the last race, Sam Seabrook, beating the world champion. Just managed to hang on there. We wonder if a similar kind of surprise is going to happen here in Heat 3. After the 3 qualification heats, we do have a consolation repechage, where the riders and drivers who weren't quite so lucky in their heats have another chance to make the final. Now the white tops. Mel Morris from Wolverhampton is car 444 to watch for. Robert Scriven from Fairfield, Gloucestershire. He's the son of Ray Scriven. We saw him earlier on in Heat 1. He's driving here amongst the yellow boys, yellow top boys. 2:05 is Tony Sterling from Newark. Let's have a look as they go through. There's car number 91. That's Wilf Warnes from Sheffield. We come on to the boys in blue. An interesting one here to watch for. 422 Nigel Wharton from Lichfield. In fact, was driving stock car before he had a road licence. And he's the son of Brian Wharton we saw in Heat. And there was Nigel going through. We saw his dad in Heat 1. Now the superstars, the red tops, and let's have a look at them. We have got Richard Ainsworth from Coventry. He's come a long way. 154 there is Brian Powles from Nottingham. 467 there indeed is Bill Batten, all the way up from Cornwall. And he may well be the man to keep his eye on here as we move into heat number 3, and away they go. The flag comes down. It's Mel Morris, car 444, who leads at the moment. In second place is Robert Scriven, and moving through there into second place it is car 27, and that's Eddie Harrison. So the white top boys carve it up at the moment. Still leading it is Morris, but I think that might be sorted out in just a moment. They're into lap 2, and going through very, very hard indeed was Eddie Morrison. Field spread out behind him. There's the red tops. Plenty of time for them to come through. Moving up into the lead, it was car 27. That's Eddie Harrison. There's Harrison, the leader. He's from Middle Barton, Oxfordshire, going sideways on. A tremendous piece of action. Of course, the secret is to try and keep the wheels in line. And there's a little bit of trouble behind Harrison there. They're all piling up there on the pit corner. We'll have a look at that in a moment there. We can see the bottom turn. But we have really got some trouble here on the pit corner. You can see them all in a big heap there. Harrison, the leader, picks his way through. Involved there, we can see it's Johnny Goodhall's 261. He's in trouble there with one of the white tops. And still Harrison leads it. Morris is second in 139. That's Stuart Smith from Chesterfield's moved into third place. Tremendous piece of action there, and you see the spin there. Fine piece of driving there. That's 2:03. Danny Clark from Kettering really holding out beautifully. Still Eddie Harrison there, car number 27. He's in the lead. Second is still Mel Morris, and in third place, by our reckoning, it's car 139. That's Stuart Smith. That's another Stuart Smith, and no relation to the world champion, incidentally. He's from Chesterfield in Derby. Harrison has some trouble there, the leader. That's going to change the leaderboard. Sailing through there went Pete Duran, and Mel Morris also making up some. There's Eddie Harrison, and now with 7 laps completed, still Harrison in front despite that spin. Mel Morris is in second place. Duran, that we saw going through, is in fact a lap behind. He was involved in that fracas earlier on. The end of 8 laps, we're midway through. And it's still car 27. Eddie Harrison leading. We wonder where, in fact, Bill Batten is. Smith has moved into second place, so it's a good day for the Smiths here. There's Harrison. Harrison. Harrison being slowed up by some of the back markers here. Pete Duran is a lap behind. Second place we make it still Stuart Smith. And we're now with just 5 laps to go. In second place, moving up very dangerously, is Smith. He's in 139, and in third place it is car 203. That's Danny Clark from Kettering. And the battle is really on up front at the moment. You can see that was a marvellous moment to join that particular incident, because it was Smith going through past Harrison into the lead. So there's Smith, and Clark went through as well. And Clark again has moved into first place, so this is what it's all about. Some real action here. Danny Clark from Kettering moving up from third to first in a little over a lap. Is Danny Clark. He really saw his opportunity and grasped it with both hands there. Went past first Stuart Smith and then Harrison. And we're on lap 15. Smith and Harrison have a rare ding-dong for second place, because it looks as though Harrison's got by up into second place, and they're in now to the last lap, and over they go. Well, Danny Clark, it was, who found the moment, found the drive, found the opening to go through there. 2/3 of the way through that race, Danny from Kettering in Northamptonshire. There he is, car 203. We managed to catch both those moments of overtaking. First he went past the front marker Eddie Harrison, then he took Stuart Smith. And that really was stock car racing of the highest order. You can see the action here. There's Stuart Smith going by Eddie Harrison, the long-time leader. Now here comes Clark. You see him absolutely powering into second place past Harrison. He's the one on the blue top in second place. Up front there's Smith, no relation to the world champion Stuart Smith, another Stuart Smith. Really can't be aware that he has got Clark right on his tail as they move into this now. He's just overcooked that corner, and Clark, you can see, has spotted his moment and has driven through there, and that really was a fine piece of opportunist driving. Well, there is the winner of heat number 3. That is Danny Clark on his victory lap. And as he goes around gaining the plaudits, and deservedly so, of the crowd here, let's give you the other qualification places. In second place, Eddie Harrison from Middle Barton. He was car 27. Third place, 139, Stuart Smith from Derbyshire. In fourth place there, car number 154, one of the red top drivers, Brian Powell from Nottingham. In fifth place, it was 211, John Aldridge from Chipping Norton. And the final qualification place going to Mel Morris from Wolverhampton, one of the early leaders. And interesting there in heat 3 that the big superstar Bill Batten, bidding for all those 3 stock car crowns, could only finish back in 12th place. But of course he'll have his chance in the Consolation Refreshage, which we'll be seeing in just a moment. Well, we are now ready for the consolation race, and it really should get a bit hot in here now, because we move on to, what, about 30 cars. We haven't really finished counting yet, but they're going to go 20 laps. And remember, we've had 6 qualifiers from the first 3 qualification races, and now the 6 top placings in this consolation race go forward to the final. Just looking down the list of the starters, we have got car 127, car 1, that's John Rawlings. We've got John Taylor, Rob Scrivens is in there, Steve Bateman 427, we just saw him going through picture, Colin Casserly, Graham Soul, Mo Masters, car number 9. They really are just all piling out. Virtually this is a race for anybody who is fit and his car is still in order amongst the red tops. We have got there Dick Powell's, we've got Andy Stott 160, Brent Savage 130. We have there 354 going in amongst. That's of course Robin Ainsworth from Ulverston, Cumbria. He's come a long way to go back without any reward. There he is, 354, Robin Ainsworth. And so away we go. And straight into the lead there it is John Rawlings 127, and there's some trouble right in front of us there. That was car 187 who cracked, and Mo Masters has gone as well there onto the infield. And the battle up front, and let's have a look to see where it is. There it is between car number 127, that's John Rawlings, and moving in Chris Lloyd is giving him a nudge straight across the infield. The barrels are bumping, the tyres are going. Can we really have some action? They can fasten this consolation race, but coming clear of it all, we have car 294. And indeed, as we see him come round. It is 284 rather. Chris Lloyd, who's moved into the lead, and the field are really chasing. The pack are howling in pursuit. Well, here is Chris Lloyd. Looks like Lee Wilson, the young man, car 11, 111 in second place. It is indeed. But there's not a lot to choose between them at the moment in the pack. Let's see them as they come by. Still Chris Lloyd in front, but the pack seems to be gaining on him. Moving into second place. There, who was it? It was Brian Wharton, has moved up into third place. John Rawlings still in second place. And we've lost the lead. There's an awful pile-up on the third corner. They're all in a big heap. You can see that is the leading pack. And going across the inside and moving through into the lead, we had car number 65. They all sort themselves out there. And, well, they're going every which way. Look at this. Well, we will try to sort the melee out for you. It's still Chris Lloyd leading, and 111, that's Lee Wilson in second place on lap number 6. Trouble 495, that's John Kaiser from Saffron Walden, who by our reckoning up here has moved into the lead. But the incidents and the fun and games happening so quickly that really and truly only the lap scorer could tell us accurately. We make it John Kaiser who leads it, and that's car 495. Still Kaiser leads. There he is, and he managed to pick his way through the debris and the carnage. He's in a pack of cars. 179 is in second place, 179. And in third place it is 427, 179. Alan Barker from Batley. He's the president of the Drivers Association, so he should know his way around here at Brandon. Is beginning to get slick. He did really have the most horrific shunt up down there about lap 3. It let this man in with a chance, and he seized that opportunity again. You really have got to have your wits about you at stock car racing. Here's John Kaiser from Saffron Walden. Driving a controlled race now, Kaiser. He's got to watch his tail. It's a 20-lap race, of course, so there's still a fair time to go. We're just moving into lap 13 now. We make it Kaiser first, and in second place Alan Barker, and in third place car number 427, and that is Bateman. Steve Bateman from Banbury in Oxfordshire. Kaiser. A reminder, of course, as we follow John Kaiser, that this is a qualifying round of the World Championship. We've already had rounds at Ringwood, White City, Manchester, Bellevue and Sheffield. We're here at Coventry for the 5th qualification round, and we also have rounds at Blackburn, Aycliffe, Northampton, Leicester, Skegness, Rochdale, Bradford and Longing. The semi-finals of this competition are at Rochdale in the north of Northampton, with the 1981 World Final at the massive Odsal Stadium, Bradford. Of course, home of Rugby League and for speedway racing for 1 or 2 seasons just a few years back. We make it 5 laps to go. It's still John Kaiser in the lead with Alan Barker in second place. Bateman in third place. Here is Kaiser, remember 6 to qualify. Here is the leader. Going past there in pretty fine style, going past Robin Ainsworth. There's the battle there, Ainsworth there. He slid through on the inside. He was driving the most competent and efficient race. Kaiser now on his 19th lap, just a couple to go. All he must do is stay out of trouble. He's moved into the last lap now, Kaiser. And he's safe and surely home and dry here. Nobody in sight. He goes over the line in first place. We look for the second place man, who should be Alan Barker. And the field all piling behind them. So a qualification heat, really, where it all was sorted out after a really colossal pile-up down on the third corner about lap 3. But the man who did get clear of all the trouble was this driver here, and that is John Kaiser, 495 from Saffron Walden. He goes forward into the final. If he maintains that sort of form, he'll be a threat there too. Well, there is the winner, John Kaiser, and as a result of that pile-up, the second place driver over the line, Alan Barker, may in fact have been a lap behind. We are just checking the lap counter. It really was a bit confusing in there, but no doubt about the winner, and that was John Kaiser. Well, there is the winner of the consolation race, John Kaiser, on his victory lap, again taking the well-deserved applause of the crowd here at Brandon Stadium. Managed to take advantage of some early trouble and then stayed out of trouble himself. But now let's have a look where the early leader, that's Chris Lloyd, car 284, lost his lead. You can see he's under some pressure here. And the pair of them go tearing across and picking up a barrel, and that was the end of the race for Chris Lloyd. And now down to Gary Newbon in the pits, who's found somebody very interesting to talk to.
Yes, an unusual character, this 18-year-old Nigel Wharton. Unusual because he won 3 major meetings in a week, and then what happened, Nigel?
I failed my driving test.
Well, how did you do that?
It was my emergency stop. I was too keen.
I would have thought that was the one thing you would have got right from this.
Oh, yes, I know I did.
Now, you've made tremendous progress. Your father's in the final, actually.
Right. Oh, yes. Oh.
But what happens when you two usually meet? You unfortunately haven't reached the final. What happens when you normally meet?
Well, I usually do a bit better than him, but he looks like it's the other way around today.
And how do you find the driving of these, then?
Very hard. You have to put a lot into the sport to get anything out at all.
Yeah, because it suddenly went wrong for you in your heat. What happened?
A back tyre broke up in my heat. So.
The consolation final, John Kaiser we saw winning it. In fact, it was Steve Bateman in second place, Pete Doran in third, Nigel Land, Andy Stott and John Lander. They were the qualifiers. There were, in fact, 14 cars in that pile-up on lap number 3, and that really sorted the men out from the boys. And we have now got the men, really the hairy men, left in the final. Remember, there are 24 finalists. They all go. They've all had to work their way through a very hard way through the heats and the consolation final. Let's just have a look down these starters, because we're in amongst the blue tops there. We've got John Lander, Andy Webb's in there, Pete Doran, Danny Clark. We saw him winning one of the qualification races. Brian Tuplin, Nigel Land, and of course another race winner in the consolation final. That was John Kaiser. He's 495. There are the blue tops starting in this 20-lap final. Well, these are the white tops, and they have caused a fair bit of excitement. Starting at the front of the grid, and we've got their car 444 Mel Morris. Number 27 is Eddie Harrison. We saw him leading one of the earlier races for a spell. A race winner was Sam Seabrook. He's 230. It'd be nice if he could repeat that dose in the big final. Chris Elwell is 501, and Steve Bates is 337. He led early on in one of the heats as well. 1, 2, 3. You can see there is Chris Elwell. 337, Steve Bates. Remember, we saw him up front until he ran into some trouble. Coming to the yellow tops. Try and read a few of these off as they go by for you to watch for. 210 is Ray Scriven. 211 there, John Aldridge. 427 is Steve Bateman. In amongst the boys in blue. They all get qualification points, remember, according to their placings. We have Brian Tuplin, 155. 459, there's Nigel Land. And now we come amongst the big boys, the superstars, the red tops. 208 there was Martin Fernahoe, and they're beginning to warm up now and there. Right at the back of the field, the world champion gold top Stuart Smith. We saw him working his way through, didn't quite make it. Will he make it in the final as the flag goes down? It's Mel Morris who moves straight into the lead. Mel Morris in front. Second is Chris Elwell. Third is Eddie Harrison. The white tops at the moment in front. And of course that's predictable. But they've got a long way to go. 20 laps around this Brandon circuit, and they're all over the place in the dirt on the bottom corner. And there's some fun and games up on the pit corner too, but it's still Mel Morris after that one. Chris Elwell is in second place. In third place it is Sam Seabrook now. And we've lost Bobby Burns, and we have lost on that top corner in the melee Andy Stott. Stu Smith is in 12th position. He's really made up some ground already. The leading pack, it's still Mel Morris in the lead. In second place now, it is Chris Elwell. In third place, well, there's a battle going on for third place, and the places are changing it all the time. That's Sam Seabrook. His race looks to be over. And the sparks are beginning to fly as Chris Elwell gets into trouble up by the pit corner. Still Mel Morris leading. In second place now. Again, the battle's going on for second place. In third place there, Chris Elwell. We saw him battle against the fence. I think it's Sam Scriven moving into second place now. And that is the leader, Mel Morris. And here comes the hungry pack. Danny Clark, a race winner, and they're going almost out through the pit gate. You're supposed to turn there, fellas. Smith has moved up into 7th place, and then we are now on lap number 6. Still 14 to go. The world champion is picking his way through the traffic. In fact, another Stuart Smith, 139, has moved up into 3rd place as well. So the two namesakes look like they're going to have a big say in this final of the British Formula 1 stock car championship. There is the world champion Stuart Smith. He really has come through in fine style. Still Mel Morris moving into lap number 8 in 2nd place. It is car 110, that's Ray Scriven. In 3rd place it is car 427, Steve Bateman. But there is the leader, and he's beginning to settle down a bit now. There is Stuart Smith, and he's in 6th place. There's been enormous shuntage. You can see again on the pit corner. No real damage done. Still Smith. Look at that beautifully controlled piece of cornering. Beautiful picture. The back wheel's spinning. The tyres, of course, are adjusted to suit surfaces. Some are a loose surface like this Brandon track with its granite top surface. Others are a tyre macadamized or hard surface. Smith is in 5th place now. Still the leader, Mel Morris. And we're at the halfway stage. Let's just reel them off. Mel Morris leading. Ray Scriven's in 2nd place. Steve Bateman is 3rd. We've got Stuart Smith. We've got the two Smiths together, in fact, in 4th and 5th. Stuart Smith 139 is in 4th place, and Stuart Smith number 1 is in 6th place. And in fact, it looks like the world champion's just moved by his namesake, so that should take him up into 4th place now. There is Mel Morris. Now Bateman has moved into 2nd place behind him. Scriven's in 3rd, and the world champion Stuart Smith is in 4th place, and there he is. Moving into lap 13. Smith trying to make up this lost ground. Here's Morris. And they really are settling down a bit now. The big question everybody's asking here at Brandon, can they catch Mel Morris? Morris, their car number 444 in the lead. Steve Bateman is in second place and he's not that far behind. We've got Stuart Smith. Now number 1 is moved up into third place by our reckoning. He's up into third place now. Morris leads it now. We've got Stuart Smith moving very, very hard on the back of Steve Bateman. He's going to swing through on the inside. He's moved up now into second place, and now he's chasing hard after Mel Morris. There is the distance between the pair of them. It looks as though the world champion Vivani, he can stay out of trouble. He gets into a little bit of a slide around the bottom corner. Still under some pressure from Steve Bateman. Car number 427 in third place. That's the battle for second place. Mel Morris is up front, and Morris, as they come on to lap number 18, it looks like Bateman, in fact, has moved back into second place. Stuart Smith dropping back into third place. So it still really is all happening. They're on to the last lap. And Smith again has moved into second place. Can he possibly get up and catch Mel Morris? He's got, what, about 30 lengths to do it. And we're in now to the last lap, and it's over the checkered flag. This is the last one around here, and Morris still holding on, and Smith making his big effort now. Smith trying to come through on the inside. Can he possibly do it? He has done. Smith just gets up on the last corner. So Mel Morris, and while he sorted it all out, in fact, Stuart Smith in his agitation did an extra lap there. It was Mel Morris, car number 444 from Wolverhampton, a local boy, a white top driver who just held on there to win that qualification round. That's a surprise, but the local crowd here are loving that. The world champion, in his frustration, roared around an extra lap, and in the confusion, when we sat and worked it all out, it was in fact Mel Morris who pulled it off.
Well, Stu Smith, the world champion, couldn't quite get up to win there, but he was doing top speeds of around 65 miles per hour.